Hello everybody, and welcome back to Cooking with Grandma. Today I'm going to be making for you air fryer donuts. These are kind of a little bit out more on the healthy side instead of the deep fried that you would normally get. I'm also going to try out my new Betty Crocker stand mixer with bread hooks that I treated myself to. So we're going to see if they work. I tried them before, but it wasn't enough stuff in the bottom of the bowl. The bowl that comes with is too deep, so they didn't really work as well as they should have, but I'm going to try it and we'll see what happens. So now, to begin with, you need a half a cup of warm water, a fourth of a cup of warm milk, 1 package of active dry yeast, and 1 tablespoon of sugar. And I put that in my measuring cup already, and I have been letting it sit. And if you can see, it's nice and foamy on the top. That's what you want. That means the yeast is good and it's activated. So we're going to set that aside for a couple more minutes. And now what I'm going to do is pour into my mixing bowl. I'm going to pour in 1/4 cup of melted butter and 1/3 cup of sugar. And then 1 egg. Okay, sorry. So we had 1/4 cup of melted butter, 1/3 cup of sugar, 1 egg, whole egg, and we need 1 egg yolk. So I'm just going to separate this egg, leave the white out. I don't know why you don't just go ahead and put the whole other egg in, but for some reason it just calls for egg yolk, so that's what we'll do. So there's an egg yolk. Okay. And to that we're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And it goes in. And 2½ cups of all-purpose flour. Dump that all in. I like these kind of recipes that everything goes in one bowl and you're done. You mix it all together. And 1/2 teaspoon of salt. My 1/2 teaspoon measuring spoon here. 1/2 teaspoon of salt that goes in. And to this mixture we're going to add in our yeast, that's nice and frothy and foamy. And you want to make sure you scrape out your measuring cup that you had everything and get all that out. All that yeast out, because that's what's going to make your donuts rise. So let's give this a try and see if it works good or not. Let's see. Alright. I might stop it in a minute and just do it by hand, but we'll see how this handles it. I'm just going to pause the video for a minute because that is a bit loud. Okay, so that's all mixed up. It did take a few minutes, but it did its job. They're little tiny dough hooks, not as big as some. So then what you do is you take it, and it is a little bit sticky, so I am going to just add just a little bit more flour to it and just mix it in by hand. I'm not going to get the dough hooks out again. I'm just going to go ahead. It just needed a little. It was mixing around and it was attaching itself to the beaters like it should, but when I pulled it out of the bowl it was a little bit sticky. So now what we have to do with this dough is you have to take it and make it into a little nice smooth ball like this, and we're going to put it in a bowl. Oops, sorry, tilted the camera there. This is what it looks like. Nice round smooth bowl. We have to cover this with plastic wrap and we have to let it rise. So it takes about anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes depending on how warm your kitchen is. What I usually do is I turn my oven on and I set the bowl right on top of the oven, so then it's the extra heat and it rises quicker. So I will come back when that is all done, when it's risen, and we'll go on to our next step. Okay, so our donut dough has risen, doubled in size, and we're going to take it out of the bowl, give it a little punch down, get the air out of it. Take it out of the bowl, and we're going to roll them out. And they do have to rise again once you roll them, but just for a few minutes. It won't be too long. I'm going to put that down there. Set my bowl aside. I'm going to get some flour on the board here. Just a little. You don't want too much. And it is a little sticky, so I might have to use a little more flour than usual. It is a little bit of a sticky dough here. It's okay. There we go. Now we're going to roll this out. There it is. And you want these to be about a 1/2 inch thick. You don't want them to be really thin donuts. It's very easy to roll. It's a very soft dough. You see how, whoops, if it gets too sticky to roll, just put a little bit. And a trick I learned is to take a little bit of flour on your rolling pin, just like this. And then you don't have to add so much flour to your dough. So now you can use anything, any round cutter you have. If you have a biscuit cutter in 2 different sizes, or if you can even use a tin can, cut off the lid, make sure there's no sharp edges, and then find something for the small part of it. So what I'm going to use is a kitchen glass. I've got one with a nice wide mouth on it, and I'm just going to put just a little bit of flour on top of the dough, just so it doesn't stick. So you put it down, give it a twist, and it'll cut it. And then for the donut hole, I have, where did I put it? Oh wait, no. There it is, okay. I have a little top to a little jar, a little cap. You can use like a shot glass if you have one, or anything small and round, whatever you can find around your house. Top to your salt and pepper shaker, anything that's small enough but to make the whole donut hole, but not too big that you have a ginormous hole. Let's see if I can get one more. No. Okay, so we got the little cap. See, it's just off the jar. And I'm just going to put that right in the center and give it a push. So now these have to go on a parchment sheet lined, baking tray, cookie sheet, and they have to rise for a few minutes. 10, 15 minutes, whatever. It might not take that long. They might rise with Okay, so I've made all my donuts. I rolled them out and let them sit on the parchment sheet paper for about 10 minutes, and they've risen, and the donut holes as well. So now my air fryer is different than the one in the video that I watched. I've got an air fryer on steroids here. See the size of this bad boy? Look at the size of that. I have preheated it. So now I'm going to take the lid off, and you want to use cooking spray. I never used this before until I got the air fryer, but then you have to use it. You spray your basket, and then you can put your donuts in. And the big donuts take about 5 minutes to cook. I got 13 donuts out of this recipe, plus all the donut holes. So depending on how big you make them, that's, you make them with a smaller cutter, you'll get more obviously, make them with a bigger cutter. So there, you just put them on the basket, and then you give them a little bit of a spray on top, and that'll help them to brown. I'm going to put my lid back on, up, and I have it set at 350 there, and I'm going to set them for 6 minutes. She said 5 to 6 minutes, so I'm going to set them for 6 and see what happens. And while they're cooking, I've already gone ahead and done it, but you can make, while they're cooking, you can make your glaze. You just take icing sugar and some milk, and you want to make it real thin, just like this. That's it, just vanilla. There are some lumps in there, so I'm going to get my whisk and give it a little bit more of a mix. Just icing sugar, and I didn't measure, I just kept adding a little bit of milk at a time until it was watery. You want it real watery. Real thin. I'm just going to stir it good and get all the lumps out. And you can do the same thing with this and add a little bit of cocoa powder and make chocolate coated donuts if you like. And now the other dipping thing that I did is I put cinnamon sugar. I just mixed up cinnamon sugar together, and I'm going to dip my donuts in that. And when they come out of the fryer, you're going to put them on a cookie sheet that has a tray, like you would put your cookies on. When you take your cooling rack, like this thing here, you're going to put that onto your baking sheet. So everything that's on it, and I am going to line my baking sheet with some parchment paper, because then it's less cleanup. You just take the parchment paper off and throw it away, because you want to. That'll save cleanup for later. So, and I can see those donuts rising in there. That really looks good. I'm going to try that method, and I have a donut mold pan that I got for my birthday, and I'm going to try. The light just went off. That means it's almost done. And I'm going to try putting them in the mold and in the oven and see if there's any difference. So I've just taken my cookie sheet and my tray, the rack, and I lined it and then put it on there. And that's what, after you dip your donuts in the glaze, you put them on there so they don't, can drain and it doesn't make a big mess. We'll see how these come out. Okay. You've got a couple of minutes yet left. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is, if I can remember, there it is, I have it hidden. So I got this pan for my birthday, a donut pan, so you can bake them. So I'm going to go ahead and give these a spray, and I'm going to bake 6 of them. I want to compare the difference between the air fried and the baked ones. I want to see what it tastes like, if it makes a difference in flavor or texture or anything. I don't know. I've never used one of these pans before. I've always wanted one, and it was on my birthday/Christmas wish list this year. We did a lot of ordering on Amazon because of not wanting to go out to any stores. So Amazon.ca and Walmart.ca were my best friends this year. And they still are going to be, because now we're in complete lockdown here in Ontario. So stores are open, most of them for curbside only, except for the grocery stores and the pharmacies, that kind of thing. Oh, they're getting golden brown. Very nice. So I'm going to put these in the oven and let them bake while we're finishing off these guys, and see how they work out, how it works. I don't know if it doesn't seem to be making any difference with the type of air fryer I have versus the one that where I got the recipe from. Hers maybe was a smaller version, and it had the drawer that you pull out. So this is a great big one. My son and daughter, his girlfriend, got me this. I probably want to say about 2 or 3 Christmases ago. This is my Christmas present. And this is amazing, this thing. I can do like chicken nuggets on one layer, and there's got 2 baskets, and it's got a rack that separates them. I can do a whole chicken in 35 minutes. Like, not cut up, but the entire whole chicken. It's crazy. I've done it, and it said in the book it said 25 to 30 minutes, but it took 35 minutes. I mean, come on. You put a chicken in the oven. Like this was about an 8-pound chicken. You put a chicken in the oven, it's going to take 2 hours. It took 35 minutes. It was crazy. So it was amazing. Yeah. So we have just about a minute to go. And so I hope you try any of my recipes and enjoy them. And, leave me a comment below what you think. If you've tried them, how they worked out for you. If there's anything you'd like me to make, just leave it in the comment section below. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I have some new subscribers. Thank you so much for all of you that are my new subscribers. I hope you enjoy the rest of watch all my videos and enjoy the rest of the new videos to come. They're really nice, golden brown, really good. I'm hoping that they get, she didn't flip hers over or anything, so I'm hoping they got golden brown on the bottom too. And after you're done with the donuts, you can also cook the donut holes, but only for about 3 minutes because they're smaller. They don't take as much time. So I'm going to pop those in too. I'm going to compare air fried donuts versus baked donuts. And we already know what donuts deep fried, in oil are like. So, I mean, this is just a healthier version. It's still going to have a little unhealthiness, a little bit, when you dip it in the icing sugar and the cinnamon sugar or the glaze, the chocolate and or vanilla glaze. So, but you know what? It takes away the fats and the oils, and it's a little bit of a treat. You have to have a little bit of a treat once in a while. And it doesn't make it so sweet. Yeah, they are very, very golden brown. Actually, the one there is a little bit smaller, and it's kind of, I'm going to stop this because I don't want them to burn. Because that one is getting a little brown. Okay, so real warm. You need tongs. Just like taking something out of the oven and you forget to put the pot holder on. So I'm going to use tongs to take these sweeties out. They come out really well. Look at that. They come out nice and golden brown. Okay, so it just clicked, so I took them out 30 seconds. So now what I'm going to do is bring the camera back over here. Okay, so now what I've got, sorry, my hand's in the way there, I'm just going to get it so you can see. And now I got my bowl of glaze, and I'm going to take the donut and just put it right upside down while they're hot, and give it a little spin, pull it up, and go, just spin it, just get it good and coated, pull it out of there, and put it on the sheet to dry. Now I think I made this a little bit too thin because it didn't coat it as well as it should have. It's kind of, melting and you can't see the glaze. You're supposed to be able to see it. So that was my mistake, and unfortunately right now I don't have any more icing sugar. It's coming. My daughter-in-law ran to the grocery store to get her 2 weeks supply of groceries, and she's going to pick me up some, so I'll make it a little thicker when she gets back. I definitely will add more, but that's okay. So they come out really well. I don't know what, I'm going to let it cool it just for a minute before I break into it and see how nice, if they're fluffy like a donut. And I'm going to do this one, I'm going to put it in the cinnamon sugar. I'm going to do it, you don't want to do this when they're hot because then it sticks. Oh, okay, it didn't, I think maybe a little bit of the glaze and then the cinnamon sugar because it's not sticking. There we go, beautiful. These are really, really good. There we go. Stick it in there just to wet it. I thought you could put melted butter on the ones with the cinnamon sugar if you want to. I just had the glaze here, so I used it. So there is what they look like from the air fryer. Yeah, this guy's cooled, so I'm going to break it in half. Almost cooled. Okay, maybe I'll cut it in half. It's still not quite cool enough. And it's very soft. You can see how easily that cut. I hope I did that in the camera right. And there it is. Look at how nice and soft that is. That's a nice soft donut right there. And like it took 5.5 minutes to make. I did 4 because you don't want them touching. So 5.5 minutes for 4. So you figure if you're doing a dozen, 15-20 minutes. I'm going to leave them in the oven for about 10 minutes, I think, and try it to see how long. I'm not sure how long they take in the oven. I've never used those molds before, so I'm thinking about 10 minutes, and then we'll check them. 7, maybe 7, because they're, they filled the mold right up, but I don't want to overbake them, and they rise nice. So now what we'll do is we'll put the rest of the donuts in the fryer because it did work. I just put them in the oven because I wasn't sure how it was going to work. We're going to put the other 3 donuts in there, and I'm going to do some of the donut holes. And again, I'm only going to do it for like 4.5 minutes this time because they got a little too brown. Not burnt, but I mean, they got a bit browner than I would have liked. This one almost looks like a bagel with brown on top. But it's a nice looking donut. So there we go. Okay, so I'm going to put the lid back on, and I'll do it for 4 minutes, 4.5, and see how they come out in 4 minutes. Okay, so I put the rest of them in the air fryer, and these are the ones that were in my little donut mold that are in the oven, and they just flop right out. It's non-stick, plus I used a little bit of the baking spray, and they actually look pretty much the same. It took about, I think it was like 8 minutes in the oven. I'm going to cut one of these in half and see if it's nice and soft like the air fryer. There it is. Nice. Perfect. That is perfect. And they taste good. I had all the taste. They're plain, like you would buy a plain donut at Tim Hortons or wherever you get your donuts, but it doesn't have the grease in it when you're deep frying. And my daughter-in-law came back just in time for me to finish this video. I also thickened up. She got the icing sugar, so I thickened up my glaze. So when I put the donuts nice and hot from the oven, and that's what you want. The other ones that I made, it was too thin, and it just suck it right in. So that's what you want to see, and it's a nice vanilla glazed donut. You can also add cocoa powder to this, like I said, and add cocoa powder and make it a chocolate glaze. I'm just going to dip them a little bit in that, and then into the cinnamon sugar, because these are dry. When you deep fry them, you can dip them right into the cinnamon sugar and it'll stick. But because they're dry, they don't have the grease on them to hold the cinnamon sugar. So I just put a teeny bit of the frosting, just enough to hold them. So there you have it. Air fried and oven baked donuts and donut holes. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was kind of a long one, and I did have to keep pausing it just for the rising and that kind of thing. Actually, when I had started this recipe, I kind of forgot about that issue, that you had to let them rise. So it took a little bit longer in the video than it would have taken. And I also apologize if, just in case, when the deep fryer, the light was going on and off. It does that when it starts to go down in temperature, and if it glared too much on the screen, I'm sorry about that in advance. I'm not sure if it hurt anything, but it looked like it got kind of bright for a minute. So there you have it, air fried donuts and oven baked donuts. Healthy-ish donuts. So enjoy, please like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what you think, and if there's anything you'd like me to make in the future, add that to the comments. And I check them regularly, so I will go ahead and do what I can if I can get the ingredients, if I don't have them at home, and if I'm able to go to the grocery store. We're trying to only go like every 2 weeks now because of the lockdown. We don't want to go out more often than we need to into the stores. So, but I will do it. I will honor everybody's request as long as I can find the ingredients that I need for it. So everybody stay safe and use lots of sanitizer. Stay home when you have to, when you can. Go out only when you have to, and have a happy New Year. I know it's the 3rd, so I didn't get a video before the New Year's. I hope 2021 has got to be better than 2020. Can't be any worse, right? And hopefully this virus will go away soon and we'll all be back to normal. So enjoy my videos. You can binge watch my videos just like we binge watch Netflix, and get some ideas and start cooking when you're at home. Spending quality time. All right, everybody. Bye for now.